Greg, with BC prep starting, can you just talk about the familiarity with the staff and playing against a staff against the guys that you coach with?
Yeah, I mean, I think when there's familiarity amongst staffs, there's certain things you have to be careful of. But those guys have all been in different places since we've been together, and they all have tweaked their offense, their defense, and their special teams. So, there is a familiarity, but it's going to be enough distance between that. It'll just be the players who plays better.
With 11 days to go, I'm sure you don't want much out externally, but internally, is there a timeline as far as wanting to know where guys are going to be more or less starting-wise on the depth chart to be able to prepare for a game? Just what does that preparation look like, just having?
Well, you work with two deep, Brian, so they're all getting a similar amount of work. And so it really doesn't matter when you make decisions like that. I know people like to throw all that stuff around about, I get in a flow and all that stuff. But the reality is you got to learn to play, because what if the guy next to you gets hurt? That happens in football, right? And you got to be able to play with the other guy next to you. So the two deep is kind of mixed together in all different looks. And, when somebody sets themselves apart, then they'll know they're the starter. And if not, then they'll just keep going back and forth until someone does set themselves apart.
Is there ever a point where it's beneficial for your team to announce a starting quarterback?
I don't think with our team. I don't think that matters. I think maybe with some teams. Yeah, the way our training camp has gone, I don't think it matters, because they've all played well. I think our guys have confidence in all three of the quarterbacks, so I'm not concerned.
Just with 11 days to go, you feel like you guys are up to speed and confident?
Confident, yes. Up to speed, no. No, we have a lot of work to do. I just got done telling them. Really hard work, really good energy, not great execution in some areas, really good in others. So that's what practice is for, right? And, we have basically two game weeks to get ready for the opener, and we'll need every minute of it, I'm sure.
Greg, with a young team, how do you kind of see the leadership stepping up and guys within those position groups, some of those younger guys? Do you encourage them to kind of step up into those roles, even if they're not necessarily a veteran guy?
Yeah, I don't think leadership is age specific. I think leadership is your ability to influence others, and whether you influence others with your actions and your words. Words alone don't do it, but sometimes it's just your actions. Lead by example. Sometimes it's your actions and your words. I think it's very hard to lead if you're not playing well. It's a meritocracy, college football. So I think that I don't think it's specific to age. Now, generally what happens, though, the more experience you have, the more you've played, the better you're playing. It gives you a better platform to lead.
Greg, on that leadership note, did you take a team captain vote yet?
Not yet. No, we will, though.
How many are you expecting this year? Do you have a number in mind?
I usually let the players, the way they vote, determine that. There's always a clear line of demarcation where, all these guys are up here, and then all of a sudden there's a big drop-off. That's usually where I draw the line. Yeah, so it could be anyone from 1 to 6 or 7. It depends how it goes.
In regards to Jude, what did he do, one, to stand out and win the kicking job, and what does he bring off the field? Because I understand he's a bit of a popular guy.
Well, he's an older guy, so he's a little more mature than a regular first-year player. He's from Ireland, so everybody likes the way that he talks. But he really is. He's a good guy. He's an intense competitor. We're really pleased with that. I think it should be mentioned that Guy Fava had a tremendous camp as well. He tried to make it as hard a decision as he could, and that's a real good place to be, that your backup kicker's ready to go and has had a good camp.
What would you say, obviously at times last year, defense played well, it didn't play well at times. What were some things you thought you improved on defensively in camp this year?
Good question. I think playing as a unit, I think the puzzle fitting together the way it's supposed to, and certainly that's assignments, but it's more than anything playing with great passion. If you know what you're doing on defense and you run really hard to the football, generally you can play pretty good defense. So I've seen that most of the time.
You've had to deal with the super senior stuff. How different has it been in terms of roster management, having these guys around, and just what are the differences in general?
Yeah, last year we had most of the super seniors. This year I think we have one or two. So that's one of the reasons we're young, right? Is I forget, everybody likes to throw out stats. I don't know the number, but I think it's like 78 guys have 3 or 4 years of eligibility left, of 78 of their 75, whatever it is, of the 85 scholarship players. So we have a lot of young guys because we had a lot of those super seniors that played a lot of football for us. So that's where we find ourselves now. But you got a guy like Avery Young. He's got over 3,000 snaps played, so that's pretty good experience. A guy like Christian Isian has played a lot of football for us. So there's some guys that have really played that I think are providing great leadership. Thank you, guys.